Three things I like about Retatrutide more than Tirzepatide. One weekend. Been on Zepbound for 3.5 months. I lost a lot of weight. It was pretty easy, but I've stalled out. I chose not to titrate up. It's getting expensive, and I wanted to try something different. Number one, I'm losing weight again. Could be due to burnout of the GLP-1 receptors, and the addition of glucagon in the Reta has activated a new pathway. The same could be true if I reverse this, if I had burnt out on Reta and switched to Zepbound Tirzepatide. Second is, this is big, is energy levels. I have had more energy this week. Last month of Zepbound, where I also wasn't losing weight, my general disposition was a bit more moody, a bit more lethargic. I'm not singing "The Hills Are Alive" with the sound of music, but say a 15% uptake in energy. Mood has elevated. I feel more positive. I have seen a video where a doctor talked about dopamine suppression being an issue on GLP-1 medications, so there is that to factor in. Third, I would talk about cravings. The suppression is different. The slowing of the gastric emptying was what I noticed more on Zepbound, is that you'd fill up, you'd have a couple cups of coffee and be like, ooh, I don't want a third, I'm done. Or I'd eat a meal, would eat less than I traditionally would eat. I did do a lot of one meal a days, so I could still eat a huge meal because I was so empty at that point that I could fill myself up. But if I ate early in the day, I couldn't eat that much. I would just get to that I got to put this down. But I still craved sweets. The cravings were there. And I would crave chips and I would crave fun stuff. So what I've noticed on the Reta is it doesn't necessarily slow the gastric emptying the same way, but the cravings aren't there. I had a cookie the other night and it just wasn't very satisfying. And it's a good cookie. It's one my sister makes. It's fantastic. It's the same recipe that I had the week before. And I just found myself eating it, but sort of like, I don't really want this that much. And I haven't had any sweets since then. I've had cravings for fruit, cravings for protein, cravings for vegetables, cravings for, pretty good stuff. Is that an impulse control thing with the glucagon? Maybe. I believe the GIP is supposed to be boosted higher in Retatrutide, and the GLP-1 is supposed to be lower in ratio to each other. So perhaps the craving mechanisms and the dopamine system is responding differently to Reta. So that's a perk. I know I said 3, but 4, the cost. And that's a gray market thing, not a Tirzepatide thing.